Morning, everybody. Just getting my morning practice in. Hope everybody's doing well. Today I am ripping it up. My Les Paul and running my my Jet City JCA 50 combo. I think I'm gonna end up putting a vintage 30 in this at some point. These things are great. I've got my overdrive in the front end of it, Santa Ana overdrive by Fender. It rips. Looking to get back into playing, so any bands out there looking for a guitar player, hit me up. Yeah, and now's a good time to catch me because I've got things have slowed down considerably in the audio world, so I'm only mixing a couple shows a week, so I got plenty of time to dedicate towards a music project should one come along. Another thing that was kind of funny that I'm thinking about, this company doesn't really exist anymore. I had a 5-year endorsement contract, as many of you people know, with Jet City Amps. They sent me a head and a cab and a contract for 5 years, and I was with them from, I think, 2013 to 2018. It was great amp. These are great amps. Where the company kind of went wrong is perceived value. Kind of talk about this every now and then. It's like when you go into a restaurant. I saw this on an episode of Bar Rescue. I don't know if anybody watches that, but it's a pretty good show. And he talks about how the chairs, having heavier chairs, equates to being able to charge more money. You wouldn't think of that because it doesn't seem very obvious, but it's true. If you go into a restaurant and the chair is really heavy and you go to pull it out, everybody's going to pull it out so you can sit down. It creates a perceived value that makes you feel like the food has more value to it. This is why one of the reasons why they were able to charge $25 for spaghetti. So when it came to Jet City amplifiers, these amplifiers are identical amplifiers to the Hot Rod 50 that was made popular by Soldano in the 90s. Everything about it's the same board, it's the same build, everything about it is exactly the same as that amplifier. And when you look at these amplifiers, even today, now I got a great deal on this one. I think I got this used for $375. It's pretty much mint. It's in great shape. But the build quality is actually far superior than my Marshall sitting over there. So these are actually built better than most Marshalls. I mean, the Marshalls don't have military grade components like this does. The problem, I think, where Jet City went wrong is that these were made in China, and they really pushed that fact, and the pricing on these was way too low. So it created the opposite effect with people, where people thought that they were getting cheap Chinese piece of crap, even though what they were getting is a Soldano built amplifier built in China that specs out and build quality far superior than even Mesa Boogie, most of the American-made stuff. It's one thing, it's an interesting thing that I've noted. If you look at there's a lot of videos online about people modding these, and these are great scores. If you can find one of these, you can usually get them for dirt cheap, and they're amazing amplifiers. The build quality, again, the chassis is 12 gauge cold rolled steel. You don't see that in a lot of these builds. My Marshall, it's an MDF cabinet. This is real plywood. So this is built just like a real Soldano. You look at the components, even the knobs, the potentiometers on it, you can feel it. They're much higher grade. They're military grade. Whereas the Marshall, whether you're talking about a JCM 800 or any of the plethora of Marshalls out there, they all feel a lot cheaper in their components. So I think that, it's too bad that they don't really, I mean, they kind of exist. I think that Jet City, you can go to the website and you can see that they do offer some custom amplifiers. I wish that they would come back in a more meaningful way, because they are really great amplifiers. I would certainly get behind them. Yeah, I still play it to this day, even though I'm kind of doing sound these days than playing live. But like I said, I am looking for a band, and want to get back to playing live. It's something I do miss. I haven't been in a band in 5 years. After COVID, I had the opportunity to be the house engineer over at the Goat, and people ask, I get this question an awful lot, why are you not playing anymore? And my answer is always the same. I believed back then that they were shutting down states, so that was going to be next, because if we go back to that point in 2001, they were, if you didn't get the jab, then you were not able to get on an airplane. There was a lot of protest and nonsense going on around that. So I thought the next step was they were going to shut down states. And because we were a regional national touring band, when I was the version of Foreigner's Journey that I was in, my singer lived in Florida, and if they were shutting down states, that means we were not going to be able to play. And I had this tremendous opportunity come up to be a house engineer at a venue close to my house, which meant it would have been a steady paycheck, would never have to get a jab, would never have to wear a mask, and that was the Goat. And as many of you guys know, I was a house engineer there for 3.5 years. I left in February, just to pursue my own endeavors, my own audio business. I built a PA, I built CTM, and I do a lot of weddings and corporate events and that kind of thing, and I have a good time. Back tonight, I'm mixing with my rig over at LaBelle. I've got a tribute band tonight. I believe it's Allman Brothers. Might not be Allman Brothers. Anyways, tribute band over at LaBelle tonight, and that's going to be a lot of fun, bringing my console, my rig, my PA, everything going out there, so that's pretty cool. But back to Jet City amplifiers. If you look at all the videos that are on YouTube, you can see that these things are built impeccably well. I don't dare ever get inside of one, because I know there's a lot of voltage in there, and I don't do that, and you can get very hurt or killed because there's a lot of voltage inside these tube amps. But I'd like to see them come back. But if you can find yourself a Jet City, they're basically a Soldano. So I think the lesson to be learned here is about perceived value. I think that you could buy these amps new for like $500, and I thought that was way too cheap. I think that they should have, like I said, I have a Marshall DSL here. These are with a Creamback 65 in it. Those are $1,100 new. That's what this should have been competing with. These should have been in the $1,100 to $1,200, $1,400 range. If for nothing else, to give the perceived value. They kind of earned this value, this perception that they're cheap Chinese trash, just because that's just how people are. A lot of people hear with their eyes. They buy with their eyes. They don't use their ears. And I think people are finally waking up to the fact, especially a lot of people I see on YouTube, finding these used, and they're realizing that how good these amplifiers really are. They're great amps. I love it. So know your worth. So for now, Facebook or YouTube or wherever this is gonna go. Hey, I tell you, I got a new YouTube channel, Clint Tone Music. Look it up. Come follow. All my shenanigans are gonna be over there. Later.